would rather one of you because you're barely.
Yeah, come on.
So somebody else just slide over.
Oh, so we go.
Come on, Tom.
Yeah, I'd rather you all do it, not me.
Good morning, guys, and welcome. We're live here. Fly on the Wall Productions bringing you the Aired Out podcast. We're on the road, out and about, aired out and about in Peru, New York, at Peru High School, and I am here with the team that makes up the Fish Perspective podcast, which is amazing, which you guys started this not too long ago. Am I right? Like, what's the deal? What's the story? What's the inception of it?
The inception of the podcast was inspired this fall at Sweethearts and Heroes Summit, Spartan Summit race with Miss Addie Bickowitz. She came up with the idea for the podcast to be the curriculum for the 103 students. And students have been in leadership for 3 years now. And so, because we didn't have a set curriculum beforehand. Yeah. So then Addie came up with that idea there, and we took it and ran with it.
No kidding. Addie, we got to talk because I've just been in touch with, right near the studio. My studio is Spalding High School, the Central Vermont Career Center, and they're chatting with me right now about developing a curriculum for podcasting, which is huge. It's massive. So this has only been going on, a couple of months now, am I right?
Yeah, we've only been doing this since about September and October. We try to film an episode like once every month. I don't know. It's
once a month?
Yeah.
What are you saying there, Tom? Oh, okay. Tom Murphy's my producer over here, and doing a heck of a job, I might add. Also, you know what's amazing about Tom is he always. What's the deal with? He wears the shirt, free hugs, but he always extends his hand to me. Have you guys noticed that? Like, does he do that with everybody around here?
Yes. I don't know. I've only shook his hand. Never gotten a free hug.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. Matt, does he shake your hand, or just when he comes in the building, or?
We have hugged.
You have hugs. Okay.
High five, fist bump. We've done all the things.
Listen, normally I love to start out with a forecast and just tell everybody what's going on here in Peru. It looks pretty similar to what we've got in Vermont. Cloudy, cool today, 70s, little cool front that's pushing in, bringing some rain, maybe some isolated thunderstorms, but yeah, for the most part, it's going to be a little cooler, at least the start to the week. This morning, coming over here from Vermont, got stuck in a little bit of rain, and had kind of an unusual experience in that I didn't bring my wallet this morning. So it's interesting that you guys are kind of looking at me like, why? Wow, you didn't bring your wallet? Because really, who uses a wallet anymore? I mean, it's everyone uses Tap to Pay and Apple Pay and Google Pay, and I get over here and I get to the ferry boat, and they don't take Google Pay. They take cash or a card. So I was already, it began my day with a little bit of a bind. So I had to kind of figure out what to do. I'm unfamiliar with the area, and this lady's like, you can drive around the lake, but that'll take you 3 weeks. So, I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, I can't believe, I'm so frustrated. I can't believe you don't take the Champlain ferries, don't take Google Pay. And I'm like, you got to. And she's like, I know, but we don't. So, of course, I run down the road to try to use my Google Pay, calling Tom Murphy on the way, who was very helpful. And basically what he said is, you'll figure it out. And that was that. But, so I go to go to this mobile station, and I'm like, I got to use my Google Pay here. I got to buy something. I need some cash back. And they're like, well, we don't do cash back here. And it's around this area where, up here in the islands, where there's like not a store every mile down the road, you know. So, yeah. So, what do you think I did? If you guys had to guess, here, grab a mic. If you had to guess, what would you do? Especially when you got Tom on the phone saying, you'll figure it out. What would you do?
I would do exactly what you did. I would hop in the vehicle or whatever, and I would go to any place that had sales or transactions, and I would try to get the funds. Digital guy. I'm not a digital guy at all. I only work on cash.
So you're old school.
I am old school.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, I would really just try to network with as many people that are willing to help with me as I can, because I know the island of North Hero, who the ferry goes off of. I'm very familiar with that island.
Yes.
Me and my father always go through and go to the Lake Monster games over in Burlington.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, so I'm very familiar, and we've been on the ferry multiple times, but we've never had an instance of that, because my dad's old school, too. He's always got cold hard cash on him.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I would just try to connect with as many people as you can, because obviously if you didn't have the adequate funds, you're going to have to you're going to have to reach out for some help.
Sure.
And that's what leadership's all about.
Oh, see that right there? That's it. You know, I have my dad always used to tell me prior planning prevents poor performance. So I was thinking about that this morning, and I was also thinking about my buddy Devin, who military guy, who's always like, you always have to be prepared for the unexpected. And he keeps a $100 bill tucked underneath the seat of his car. He tucks it up like inside the upholstery. And it's always there. And I was thinking about him this morning too. But anyway, what would you have done?
I think I would do it actually, I wouldn't do this, but I think it'd be funny if someone would do what they do in the movies, which is flip their hat down and start doing like a fancy special skill they have, and hope that people just start helping them buy their way across where they need to go. Because I just think that's fun. I've seen an episode in like a dancing show, and there was this group, and one of the characters lost like their great grandmother's necklace or something. Like, no, I need that metal detector from that old guy. And she was freaking out and stuff, so they all started dancing and stuff, and I thought that was kind of funny. And I think that's what I would want to see someone do, is just flip their hat and hope people pay them.
Wow, interesting. All right, who's next? With any ideas? What would you have done?
Well, you know how like all the cars are lined up for the ferry?
Yeah.
Like waiting? I would like go car to car and be like, do you have any spare change? Like $1, coins. It's like $17, right, for a ticket?
12. 12.25.
$12.25. So I'd be like,
Sure.
give me some coins.
Yeah.
Of course, Liam, our Amish king over here, he would have his wallet. He would have his cash. So I'd go up to
Amish
Liam's
king.
car, and I would ask him for some cash because he has his wallet. He doesn't use his electronics. Phone ban does not face him.
Would you put your car in a way where you were restricting flow here and interrupting the boarding process onto the boat so that they kind of had to? Hey, let's get this lady out of our way here.
I drive like all the way up and like park my car like parallel to the boat.
Okay.
And just like walk and be like, I need a ticket.
So aggressive. Okay. All right. Who's next?
Gosh, I think I'd probably cry. If I'm being so honest, I think that's the way I'd go. I'd turn around and I'd go back to my house. I don't know how far you are away from the ferry. Probably
2.5.
2.5 hours?
Yeah.
And you don't have a license?
Correct.
Or anything?
Yeah.
Well, that's reckless driving.
Guess
right
what
there.
Peru High School asked me for when I stepped through the door?
Oh, yep, your ID?
Yes.
You don't have it.
Yes.
Well,
So
that's
it keeps
a
getting better and
predicament.
better.
Yeah, I'd
Listen,
cry.
this only happens on Mondays. You know that, especially when it's cloudy and rainy too. If it was a sunny Monday, this type of stuff wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I also do like your story about keeping the extra cash in my car. I keep at least $50 just in case. You never know when
Really?
you're gonna
Do you?
need that gas money or something in an emergency.
Now, so I'm curious, would an emergency constitute, I am absolutely starving right now. I need a drink and some snacks. Would you go for the 50 in a situation like that, or would you wait for like an emergency, like you're out of gas, or you can't get on the ferry? You're going to be on the Fish Perspective podcast. You're going to be late. You're probably not going to make it at all because you got to drive 3.5 hours around the top of the lake.
I don't know. I'd probably. Well, it depends. If I'm getting food on a day that I'm like, oh well, I have the extra cash at home, I'll just like put it back.
Okay.
If like
That
when
never
I'm
happens.
when I'm at home, that's true. That's true. I'd probably not. It depends on where you're getting food too. If it's fast food, I'll be like, no, I don't need the fast food. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking with my stomach right now. But if it, oh my gosh, I'm starving. I haven't had a meal all day, and
Emergency.
I'm like, then a gas station sandwich or something might have to do.
Okay.
No snack never hurt.
Yeah.
But discipline to replenish that emergency cash stash there. What would you do?
So I have my license and my card and my keys all on one thing. So they're all together. And I always keep an extra 20 or extra cash at least in my little thing.
Wow.
So, and I have a Stewart's gas card in my car. So I got backup money if I need gas.
Jeez.
Yep.
You guys are making me feel horrible this week.
And I don't have like any like Venmo or anything on my phone either. So
You don't?
No.
No
I use-
Venmo?
No.
No Google Pay?
No, it doesn't work with my bank. So I have to rely on my card and cash. And I've had times where my card doesn't work, so I have to have cash with me. So I
Wow.
always have to have backups.
So the producer needs to say something.
Yes. Tom always needs to.
It's interesting to me. This is the generation that's not going to make it, remember?
Here, let's get you. We want to make sure we can hear you, buddy.
Let's just go into that this is the generation that's not going to make it.
Right.
Remember, like this is what everybody's saying, y'all aren't going to make it in life?
Correct. Because they don't know how to think outside the box.
Sounds like
That
every one of them
generation.
got something different.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so I guess I was, so I ran to this gas station, the closest one I could find, which was several miles down the road, and they don't do cash back. So there I am. 5 minutes earlier, I got Tom Murphy saying, well, I know you'll figure it out. And I'm like, Tom, not going to figure it out. Got to drive around the top end of the lake. So I get back in the car, and this guy, I got the window down. This guy hears my conversation. He's in the car next to me. He's got his window down. He's listening to me. I don't know he's listening to me. Gets out of the car and he says, what are you doing over at Peru High School? And I said, I'm joining the Fish Perspective podcast this morning, and I gotta be there on time. And he goes, I know the Fish Perspective. Reaches into the wallet, pulls out a 20, hands it to me, and says, have fun. Get there on time.
No way.
Wow.
And that guy's name is Tad Wilder from Green Mountain Heat Pump LLC in South Hero.
I'm gonna cry.
Shout out to him. Shout out to him.
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
So,
Oh, that's our king.
it's like there's good people out there in the world, man. It's like and that was the message that I wanted to bring to you guys, is just that, honestly, if I had to go around the top of the lake, I probably, I don't know, how much farther is it? I mean, is it like
Time-wise?
From there,
Yeah, from there.
you're going to tack on 45 minutes.
Okay, so all right, so I would have been super late getting here. I'd probably be just rolling in around now. So, you know, I mean, that's what it's about. You know, it's it was my only option was to drive around the north end of the lake, and I certainly didn't have time for that. But I wanted to ask you guys here today with your podcast, which I'm going to be hopping on that.
Girls too. Women.
Yes.
They're not guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
with you all. Whew. Thank you, Tom. Wow. Maybe because you guys never say, I just said it again. You people.
He has a daughter too.
I have a daughter. Yeah. You never say guys, do you? Right.
I say it all the time.
I just like
All the time.
I
All the time,
associate
Tom.
it with like neutral. Guys is
Yeah,
neutral.
people.
Guys.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Like,
So,
I just feel like
what time does your podcast start? You guys tape it.
Yeah.
Okay. What time does that? What are we doing? When's that start?
Yeah, we do
we
that.
tape it at any time.
Yeah.
Anytime you
Maybe
want.
Anytime we
like
can.
start at 9, but because we have you as well today,
Yeah.
or whenever it finishes.
Okay. Cool. What I wanted to ask y'all about is what is the relationship with Tom and Sweethearts and Heroes in your podcast? In other words, is your content crafted from everything you're doing with Sweethearts and Heroes, or are you kind of doing your own thing in addition to that?
I would say we're definitely trying to do our own thing with the guidelines or with an influence from Sweethearts and Heroes. We have offered for Tom Murphy to be on the podcast before, but he was busy and he declined. But
Yeah.
we'll move past that.
Loser.
Anyway, we have him today, so we're grateful.
Yeah.
But yeah, we know how busy and we know how important and how big the program is getting, Sweethearts and Heroes that is, and how important you all are into many people's lives, including our own. And so we want to just increase the outreach.
Yeah.
Like that gentleman, Tad Wilder, in North Hero, Vermont.
Plug.
Yeah, probably never been to Peru, probably never even been to New York, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's just crazy. It's the whole nother state. We have a person that watches our podcast that's influence and pushes out the philosophy of Sweethearts and Heroes, and that, like Skylar was showing, that really hits close to home.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't know your outreach. Like you could look on online and say, okay, we have 100 views.
Sure.
But until you actually get those 100 people into a room or into an interaction like what you had,
Sure.
it doesn't seem real.
Yeah,
Until you
of
see
course.
that person and you can see the impact that it's made on them.
Yeah.
And
that's something that happens all the time for me. You know, it's like if I go to the grocery store and I bump into someone and they say, "Oh, you know what you did the other day that was so funny, haha." That's great. I mean, that's cool. But if I go to the grocery store and I bump into someone who says to me, "Months ago, you had so-and-so on the air, you had a guest on the air that really had a special impact on me or my kids or whatever," that kind of stuff means more. It means more. I don't know. I wanted to ask you guys about connectivity with your audience. You know, do you know what your audience is, who they are? Are they parents of students here mostly? Are they fellow students? Are they administration? Or are you guys promoting this out in the community, in the public, people that are not connected or affiliated with the school whatsoever?
I would have never guessed that someone in Vermont would be like, "Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. Like, I hope you have an amazing time." And I was at someone's senior night for something. They showed almost no emotion. And then they get told about this and they start crying. And I think that's awesome because, like, we don't know, like, I have no clue who watches it. Even people who are from Shazy, Ausable, or Thai, they say they've watched our podcast. I'm like, you do? Like,
Yeah.
I actually get so excited about it because we're just doing a little circle. We do this almost every day. And the fact that, one, people in the hallways are saying hi to me and they're like, I loved that, like, question of the day you did the other day. Like, I thought that was so much fun. And when can I be on when can I be on one of those little skit videos? And I think that's awesome. Two, like, not two, B, I love that. And I feel like we have adapted so much from what we want this to be and what we think would also align with Sweethearts and Heroes. And I think it's crazy that a little idea we had on a little 3-day thing turned into such a big thing where people in Vermont know us. Like, who would have thunk? Who would have thunk?
Yeah. Are you guys, does anybody else want to add to that?
I was up in Brush and Moira for a softball game, and if you don't know what that is, not a lot of people do, but if you do, shout out Small Town USA. But I was up there for a softball game, and after the game, I never told you this, but sorry. A parent came up to me from the Brush and Moira side, and they were like, I've heard you on a podcast that my kid's been watching and on this Instagram. And they told me about, like, how they loved the message that we put out, and I was just like, oh, bro, it was just so insane because I was just up in Brushton, Moira for a softball game, and this parent just knew who we were, and it's just such a good feeling.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like originally our audience we didn't expect all of these people to know who we were. We expected, the town of Peru, maybe like students obviously at the school, like here and there. Not all of the students really care or want to hear our message, but some do. And we expect, okay, those students and maybe their parents or maybe their family members, if they tell their family, just a little Peru, and like maybe some teachers and stuff. Well, it definitely has gone a lot farther than we ever anticipated. And yeah, I may or may not have just started crying because it's such a good feeling that what we do actually has an impact. And to see, like, I talked to Plattsburgh, which a student from Plattsburgh, like, yeah, it's Plattsburgh, it's not that far away, but still they were like, oh yeah, I've seen you before. Oh yeah, like I know who you are. I'm like, I've never met you before. They're like, oh, you're on that podcast, that like Sweethearts and Heroes podcast. And I'm like, stop. Yeah, of course I am. Like, it's glad that you recognize me. Anyways,
I originally thought like with the summit, because it started there, so of course like we were telling all the other schools and talking about it, and hey, like this is our goal, like we're gonna definitely do this. And then once it finally got set in stone, it was like, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, how are we gonna do this? And then it slowly just started from here at our school and like at the summit, and then other schools knowing and then asking and being like, hey, when are you gonna start this? When can we join? Like, can we be a part of this? So I think with everyone coming together and working together, I think that's definitely helped spread the message. So we definitely have a good community around us to do that.
That guy might have been a little bit helpful too.
Yeah, throw him some love. Throw Mr. Mitchell some love. This guy, he and I were chatting on the phone. I mean, he's like light years above me with technology. You guys are really lucky to have him.
yeah, shout out Mr. Mitchell. We could not be here without you. We love you so much.
We're so bad at answering his emails too, and he's so patient with us.
He's
Right.
so patient.
He's so patient.
We always tell him last minute, and we're like, sorry.
Yeah.
You have room in your schedule for us.
We need to
always
add a
says
person.
yes. So sweet.
And
Look at all these cameras and everything over here. I mean, this is amazing.
Well, I make sure, at least in every email I send, to say, thank you so much. Like, we love you. Thank you. I make sure that I include that because forever grateful. Forever grateful.
Yeah. I want to say to you guys, and I basically, one of the things I was thinking of on the way over here today was when I was in high school, which was a long time ago. It was in the 80s. And this was a time when cell phones really weren't out. If you did have one, you probably had a lot of money to be able to buy a phone. And they called it a bag phone. And see Matt Perry is nodding his head. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Tom is like so young that he's like, what are you talking about? A bag phone? What does that mean? But anyway, and you if you were lucky to get a bar of service, if you were driving, you pulled over to be able to hang on to that bar to be able to make a call, because there was like one tower and that's it. It was a whole different world. But people weren't walking around with something in their hand. They weren't walking around with a tablet or a device or a cell phone or whatever. They weren't walking around like this with their heads down. And they certainly weren't driving like that. But the way that we communicated it was just a kind of a different world. It's like you met with people, you had a lot of FaceTime, and now ironically it's like FaceTime is, hey, call me later, FaceTime me, and it's all virtually, and it's not the same, man. It's like when I was your age, and younger, even in high school, it's like I came home and we sat around the table and we talked as a family. We had dinner together as a family. We had place settings. The only phone that we had was plugged into the wall, a corded phone. And my mom used to go up at 6 o'clock every night. We'd have dinner. She'd go over and she'd unplug the phone out of the wall, and we would all sit down. It was just my brother and I, mom and dad, the four of us. How was your day? Good. What was good about it? Well, it's just blah, blah, blah. Well, elaborate. Tell me more about what was good about it. What was, it wasn't a great day. Well, what was not so great about it? And we would be, I want to say the word forced, but we weren't forced because it was just natural. That's just the way it was done. And now it's like, I'll be at the dinner table and I'm like, I got to get back to Tom Murphy right now. And I'll try to sneak a text in, and my wife Sherilyn will be like, "Hey, no cell phones at the table. This is our time." We were, as a culture, as a society, we were so connected with each other, but technologically, we were so disconnected. Distance-wise, it's like if you wanted to call your relative in London, that was an expensive call, and it was by the minute, and it was only audio. Now, you want to call someone overseas, you can see them, you can hear them, and it's free. I mean, that was an absolute foreign concept when I was a kid. We just were not connected. There was no cyberbullying. There was no Facebook. There was no texting. Hey, are you going to the game later today? Pick up a gallon of milk on the way home. You didn't find out that you needed to get a gallon of milk on the way home until you got home and your wife said to you, I needed a gallon of milk, and you had to turn around and go back and get it. That's the way that information age was not there. But even though it wasn't, we were so connected as a people to look at each other, to talk with each other. And if you weren't doing that, then you were alone. You weren't communicating. Now it's, you can be alone and be communicating with 10 people at the same time. You can have chat rooms, and it's such a different world now. We weren't distracted back then by anything that was external that was going on in our lives. Some of us had pagers. You'd have a pager that would go off. I don't even know if you guys know what a pager is, and when it did, you had to find a payphone and put a quarter in it and make a phone call, even if you were a doctor or whatever. That's just the way it was. But now we live in this culture where you guys are technologically, you're so connected, but in so many ways it's interesting because that technological connection has disconnected so much FaceTime that we have with each other. How many times you guys go to a restaurant where you see a family of 5, 6 people sitting there and they're all on their cell phones texting? They're not communicating with each other. Or, people be in the same room. Your wife is texting you from the couch. Hey, look at this funny reel. Or, hey, let's not argue about this right now in front of our kid. It's like we're in the same room and we have to text each other. And we're connected, but we're disconnected in so many ways. What do you guys have to, I want to pass the mic around. What do you guys have to say about this? I'm guessing, I'm very intrigued with what you have to say. How old are you guys, by the way?
I'm 17.
17. So you're all around 17, 18?
Yeah.
Are you seniors?
Yep.
I'm a junior.
Except that.
Okay. You're a junior? Okay. Talk to me.
All right. So I basically agree with every little thing that you said, and I could bring some of my own personal anecdotes into there, except one thing. The fact how you said that it's free, calling people is free. Nothing's free, especially online. It seems free. You could download it for free. You could do all these things. But how those apps and how those companies make their money is they sell your data. They sell your data on these data web bases that people go in there for good and the bad. And
Sure.
they literally purchase your information for their own benefit, for their marketing or what have you. And this is why there's so much, like credit card scams and people buying mortgages and their information. And then next thing you know, you got a house in your name that that's hundreds of thousands of dollars now. And I didn't agree that it is free. I believe that it's very technically useful. Like you're saying, like, your wife calls you, hey, stop and get a gallon of milk on your way home. And no, that's something that's very useful. That saves time in the end rather than going home and coming back and then going to get the milk. But I would even say there are many more utilities on the phone that is just mindless. It's meant to be mindless. And I think social media is the forefront of that. You go on social media and you got all these these reels that are just meant to kill your brain and you just occupy you for a given amount of time. And then you see all these people posting like they're in the Bahamas and they're out doing all these different things, and then you're comparing your life to somebody else's highlight reel. And then people think that's their real life. I'm doing something wrong. Like, I'm doing something, this person's out having a great time with people and they're socializing, but really that's just, like I said, that's their highlight reel. That's what they decide to post. That's the figure they decide they want to put out there. It's not them. And like, you really know who somebody is when you're in the room with them and you're talking, and like the dinner table. I was definitely raised with a lack of technology. My first cell phone was the one you turn on your side and it's got the keyboard, and that was only a few years ago. But I've always been a big reader and big writer, everything like that, all sorts of the arts. I'm into the music, and so, but my father and my stepmother, they're super technologically present. And so my father, he runs a NASCAR league, which is pretty sick, but he spends all day on it. All day. When he gets home from work, he gets on his computer, and that's that. He stay up way past when I go to bed for school in the morning. And my mom, she gets done cooking dinner or whatever, and then she goes on her phone and scrolls on those videos. And then I'm just in my bedroom, like either reading or writing my own stuff. So it's very individualistic.
Yes.
But there was a lack of technology. So I can't say that it was that. It was really just the environment that I was raised in. It was, like I said, it's very individualistic. That's a awesome word right there. And it was very unemotional. And I still do have a very hard time conveying my emotions. Like Skylar had asked me earlier if I was crying, and I jokingly said I don't cry. Of course I cry, but it's like it has to be a really impactful event. Like my dog passing away recently. That was tough. But as I could always like speak my emotions, but sometimes I have a hard time feeling them and reverberating them out there in the world. And so I wouldn't say that it's technology through and through that does that, because like I said, I was very much raised with a lack of technology. But I also embraced other things that make me more philosophical and wise, like reading. I love reading more than anything else. Wow. It's very empowering, very self-empowering, and you get knowledge and experience from that type of stuff. Something that you can get, but like you said, there's so many distractions online. Like people say, oftentimes excuses I kind of hear, like when people are scrolling, they're just like, oh, I'm just waiting for. I like these type of videos. I like the videos of woodworking. I like that because that's me. I like woodworking. That's my own personal example. But it's like to get to those videos to try to find woodworking, it's just mindless. You're trying to find that. You're trying to search for something that's not even real. And if you get to that and you get good information or whatever, but you could have got that same information from a lesson, from a book, from a person that actually knows how to do that, and not online where you're supposedly learning. And, it's I could go on and on about this for sure. But I definitely agree with 99% of what you said.
Yeah.
I think phones definitely have pros and cons. For me, I have to deal with the phone ban next year. You guys don't necessarily have to, but I don't think it. Did you really have to figure out which it was? But I've enjoyed not seeing like everyone just down like on their phones, and like we're playing games, and I think that's so cool because like why do we need our phones when we can play? What were you playing, like sevens or something like that? Sevens. Like I learned, and I relearned a game that I used to play with my dad all the time called golf, and it's not like putting, like it's a card game. But like I loved it honestly, and I was playing it with some of my friends, and it was really cool, and it actually connected a lot of different people in our Spanish class, and I think that's awesome that just a simple card game does that. I don't like texting. I'd much rather call someone because you never know the tone someone has when you're texting. And then I'm really bad at this. When I think someone's mad at me, I ignore the text, and I'll read it, and then I won't like respond to it because I don't want to cause any like more bad things to happen, which I know by not responding to it, it doesn't make it much better, but that's just how I do it, and I need to work on that. I know that. But I also think that if people had like a really big problem with me, they'd come up to me and tell me the problem, because if they don't do that, then they don't really have a problem with me, in my opinion. They just want to like say their feelings, and I'm good with people telling me their feelings. I will be the shoulder for anyone. I don't care who you are or like whatever, like I will listen to you no matter what. But if you have a problem with me, you need to come up to me or call me and be like, I would like to talk to you because I know school's not the right place for this, but I need to tell you I feel like this because of this action. And I feel like that's more impactful than sending a big spiel on a text message.
Sure.
But I also, like, I live really close to Zoe, And whenever we're bored, we'll just text each other and be like, yo, you want to go on the walking trail by our house? And we'll go and just hang out for a little bit. I think I called her at like 5:30 last night and asked if she wanted to hang out. And that's what we did after her softball practice. But I don't know. Honestly, I kind of like not having the phones all the time in my hand. I saw someone from my grade in the hall actually last week, because we have like a little trial run basically of I need something in my hand. I'm going to tweak out because I don't have my phone. And I feel like it's not that deep. Like, you really don't need it that much. Like, you really don't need it. And if something bad happens, then you have that resource to use. But we're in this situation because you can't just let it go and like not be on it. 9 times out of 10 when I'm on my phone, it's for a school purpose. So the only reason why not having my phone affects me is because I can't respond to emails when I want to respond to it, or I can't turn in a class assignment at that time. And I just think one of my teachers, who was very like fond about the no phone idea, was like, take a picture of that with your phone. And I'm like, you want me to take a picture of that with my Chromebook, you mean? And she goes, no, your phone. I'm like, what phone? Like, I don't have my phone. You were very excited about me not having my phone. Like, I don't have it. She's like, oh, like, she got so mad, and she was so excited about this phone ban. So it's not even like students that use phones for school purposes. Like, if I need to take a picture of an art project, I'm not going to use like a not so great quality Chromebook computer because I need like all the little details in it. But I just thought it was funny that she was very like frustrated with the fact that I couldn't take a picture with my iPhone when that's how we normally do stuff. But honestly, I think next year it might be a little problematic. But I thought it was going to be really bad when we first started the trial run. And I thought it was going to be really bad, but I actually haven't seen much. So I don't know.
I'm listening to you guys, and I'm thinking how texting is so it's so convenient, and it's fast. But how many of you have ever waited to reply to a text because you're trying to figure out in your mind your interpretation of that text, what was said in there that you might be taking out of context with your reply, and you just need to sit on it for an hour or two before you reply, so that you can kind of process what your interpretation is of it. Is this person having an attitude? Am I going to play the game, or am I just going to call them? What if I bump into them at the store before I've had a chance to reply to them by text? I get people that get upset with me because I haven't texted them back quickly enough. That's the kind of stuff. It's like, man, if we could just speak more, it would be so much more helpful. So any other thoughts on everything?
So basically, like, with the text, like, if someone has a problem, like, the whole, like, send a big text, like, I'm, like, a very blunt person. I'm blunt. I will tell you how I'm feeling. I will not keep anything out. But I'm also very an unserious person too, though. But I will tell you. I will say what I am feeling. And with like texts like that, I hate it when people text me when they have a problem. I just would rather they just say it to my face, or if they like text someone else about it, I would just rather them come to me. And like with the phone thing, I think, and a lot of the things too is like Snapchat as an example has like premium that people pay for to like see
your location, like where you've been. It's really weird.
No, Sigma, that's free.
That's
free. You can see people's location for free.
That's even worse.
But with Snap Plus, it's like you can see how much like a guy's snap score is going up that you've been snapping, and see how many people they've been snapping, and if like
there's too much transparency.
Yeah, and I just think like that makes people even more addicted because you're just checking everything. You're always looking, like you can see everything, and I just think like
You're
I think
always
we need
you're
to
always
stand
looking,
up.
or you're always looking, or you're always sniffing for drama.
Yeah, like we just as a society, we just need to stand up and just put it down. Like I'm saying this to myself because I have Snap Plus.
Yeah.
Like I pay for it every month for no reason, and I just am more telling myself to stand up. But like just stuff like that, and like with the phone ban, I've talked to more people. Well, I always talk to people like I
What's the
love talking.
what's the phone ban? That's for what is that? For seniors? They're not allowed to use their
Everyone.
Yeah.
everyone in the school.
It's a state
Okay.
thing.
It's a
It's a
state
law.
thing.
It's
All
a
right.
state
So
law.
so when you come to school, what do you do? You put it into a
Locker.
locker?
If Mr. Batten sees it, you using it at your locker, he will snatch it.
Okay. What about
Any teacher,
Any
not just
teacher.
Mr. Madden.
what about Principal Barry?
Oh, he's trying to get in the
Ooh.
top.
Yeah, he's trying to get the
said that.
most
He's
busted
tally
phones.
how
Yeah,
many
he's
phones.
telling.
So they're competing of who can confiscate
The most.
Yeah,
the most
basically,
phone.
yeah.
What do they win other than bragging rights?
I don't know.
Probably a free
A gift-
golf
They probably
match
have
or
something.
something.
A gift card to Olive Garden or something. What do they get?
Probably like membership for a week to bluff or something. They like
Okay,
golf.
all right. Do they make like school announcements? Do they put this into a Sweethearts and Heroes assembly? The winner?
Oh, I don't know.
Is there a crown? What do they? Okay.
We have no
I
idea.
think that the school should maybe get a crown and a sachet.
That is awesome.
You know. Yeah. Go. Yeah. I love the fact that
Still had something to say.
that I love that.
20 minutes.
That's fantastic, though. That's great.
Yeah, Liam.
I
yeah,
love
Amish.
that.
Liam just
we
got
we
reversed.
Hey,
joke.
can I just say? He just said interrupt. I'm interrupting all of you because I just want to say when you guys are doing your podcast, I think that interrupting is so important and a good thing for engagement. Tom's been on the air with me before, and while I'm speaking, he's going. So that's interrupting, okay? But what he's doing is he's engaging. He's got another perspective, another thought, and he'll cut right in and say, "Yeah, but what? Oh. You know." And I think that's good. That's good to interrupt. You guys should do that more, really. But go ahead. I interrupted.
Well, we said earlier we called Liam Amish. It's just a joke. He
Yes.
knows
I was
it's a
self-
joke.
I was
Liam,
self-proclaimed.
Yeah,
actually.
he called
self-proclaimed Amish. No, we just joke because he doesn't have he rarely has a phone, and if he does have a phone, it's a flip phone. But then he's like, after that explanation of why phones are bad, I think everybody at home understands.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, I'm interrupting.
my thoughts and feelings on phones, I think it's a good thing that we don't have 24/7 access to phones. Like in school, I understand if you're in class, but I feel like study halls or lunch, there should be exceptions to
Yeah.
the rules. Because
Are there now?
No, there's no exceptions to the rules. There's no phones, period, at all. But for seniors, I have 2 study halls a day, and I know some people have more. And so I understand for those students, sometimes having your phone might be nice just for downtime or, something like teachers allow us to use our phones occasionally in class. So for those times, but those times have been filled with card games or movies or something that's fun. So there's an alternative to phones, yes. But also, we have a senior trip happening tomorrow for the seniors sitting here. We're going to Saranac Lake. And so from Plattsburgh, Saranac Lake is about an hour and 40 minutes, roughly 2 hours.
What? No.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Trust.
Yes, it is.
Where we're going is like an hour.
On a bus.
Where we are going in Saranac Lake is about 2 hours on a bus. Okay, some people might argue with me, but
Okay.
in my mind, that's what it is. And so
You like that? Got that restriction.
there was talk that we weren't allowed to have our phones, but they further come back saying that we are allowed to have our phones, but we're not really allowed to tell the underclassmen because it's unfair to them.
Oh, this is
But
a mess.
if I was not allowed to bring my phone, I think I would not attend. I don't think I would go because
Whoa.
being 2 hours away from home with like two teachers that would be going, I think 3, just kidding. Only a few amount of teachers to 137 students. That's how many are in our graduating class. I think that's not enough teacher to student ratio. And if something were to happen, it's in a big space. It's like a camp. We're going to a camp. So there's a lot of space. A lot of things can happen. People have allergies. What if there's an emergency and nobody has their phones? There's no teachers around. In my mind, bad things can happen, and I'd rather have an emergency device. It's not necessarily being able to have my phone or having internet or having social media. I don't care. I need to have access to emergency services.
My mom would genuinely not let me go on the senior trip if we couldn't have our phones because she's like very anxiety and like would not be able to handle it. I mean, me too. Like low-key, I'm like codependent on my parents. I text my parents like 24/7. I love my parents, but like I just think it's like my mom, even in school right now, she's nervous because she's like, what if there's a lockdown and you can't text me? And I'm like,
It's scary.
well,
Yeah.
guess you're not finding out till after.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, that's
it's just a little scary. Like
when
you know.
Tom and I were kids. I mean, that's how it would have been.
Yeah.
You know. I think that's awesome that you just said you love your parents and you text them off, and that's so cool. I love to hear stuff like that. I hope my little girl who's 10, it will be like that. But you know, outside of having that tethering to the foundation of, I know that that I can rely on that if I need to. Without that, can you survive 2 hours without some kind of, separate from what you were saying, can you have 2 hours of being disconnected to not needing to be entertained by something visually or on your phone or something funny? Can you find that funny with the person sitting next to you on the bus? You can.
Yeah, play games. Play games. Make up your own games.
Wow. This is amazing to,
Yeah.
Like the game pigeon stuff. I think some of my favorite things. Because that's so game pigeon, it's basically like a thing that you can send one game to a friend and then you can play with each other, which I know is on your phone.
cell phones are not involved here?
No, it is.
Yeah, it's like a text message thing.
Okay,
But like
okay.
like me and my sisters will do this all the time when we're like going on a 5-hour road trip to our uncle's,
Yeah.
and we'll be playing like Uno or like the
Okay.
square dot game, and I think that's like a fun thing. But you can also like play Wavelength. I think that one's awesome.
With each other on your own device. That's okay, so that's amazing. I mean, not to sound like an old man, but when I was a little kid and we did a road trip in a car with my brother, I mean, we were either fighting or reading books and getting car sick, or working on a puzzle, or license plate bingo. You guys know the song "Counting Blue Cars." You know, it was stuff like that. But we had to be together. You know, and that's just something like. Always remember when you guys are podcasting together that someone is watching or listening that you don't know. They don't know you, you don't know them. And that's something that I try to think every day, is that I'm connecting with someone on some level. And it's either through entertainment, I'm either goofing around or, you know, talking about real life stories that I think we can all relate to, or I've got a guest on that's talking about their life with regard to whatever they've experienced, good or bad, and that is reverberating with someone on the other side of my camera that I'm not able to see. I'm not on a stage looking out at my audience and seeing someone in my audience with a tear in their eye or someone laughing. But know that when you guys go on the air, what you're talking about is pretty impactful stuff, and it's connecting with someone either who's kind of on the same level with you. Maybe they're a student, or maybe it's a parent of a student at a whole different school in a whole different district, who's relating to what you're saying. But you guys are doing outstanding work. I don't know how much longer are we allowed to go here?
I think the most important thing is for you to end with that Blue Car song.
Counting blue cars?
Yeah.
Are you saying you want me to sing it?
Yes.
They want you to sing.
It's not, Tom, it's not happening. No, there's no beat. No, that's not happening. Not happening. You know, what I wanted...
It would help us connect to our family members in our car.
Yes, it
because
would.
We can teach them as well.
Yes, it would.
Yes,
It really
yes.
would.
Well,
Yes.
yes, I got that. But listen, what? So
That doesn't sound like the Blue Car song.
no, I know. I'm just looking here. Rick Yarish is going to be with me Wednesday morning in my studio, which I can't wait for. It's a good man.
Very good man.
This guy is like, man. When Sweethearts and Heroes went to my daughter's school, I didn't even know anything about it until she came home, and she was like, "Dad, there was this guy at our school and all of his skin was burned off." And I'm like, what's going on here? And then he was with another guy who was a fighter, and I'm like, and I'm looking at my wife, and she's like, there was this organization, Sweethearts and Heroes, and they were doing an assembly at the school, and she's like, yeah, and they had me up on stage, and I had to put 10 marshmallows in my mouth and into the alphabet with this burn guy next to me, and I'm like, what is this all about? Rick is, the thing about Rick is that I think that we've all learned, you guys have definitely, I'm assuming, have learned that a person is a person underneath their skin. No matter what color the skin is, no matter what's happened to their skin, no matter what's happened to their outside appearance, that guy, he still has his... He's got his heart, he's got his cognition, he has his sense of humor, which is absolutely remarkable. I mean, seriously, to hear the banter between him and Tom, and just bring some normality to someone who has experienced unimaginable hardship that I'm sure each of you have said to yourself, God, I can't imagine what would I be like if I went through what happened to Rick. How would I come out of that? Would I be a recluse? Would I be, would I be out on tour with Sweethearts and Heroes going around with a positive message? I mean, and he says it's the best thing that's ever happened to him. I mean, we're going to dive into that on Wednesday morning, but you guys, this school is so, you guys already know this, you're so blessed to be able to have Sweethearts and Heroes with you, and I hope that after you graduate that you're going to still stay involved with your school and with Sweethearts and Heroes as much as possible, and I wish that I had something like this when I was in high school, because it was all English, math, science, social studies. That was it. when I was in school. Those 4 things. To have something like this, especially today, is so important. I'm a little disappointed that I haven't received a Free Hugs shirt yet. Maybe at some point, and I'm willing to buy it, with my Google Pay. But if they take Google Pay, but this shirt that I'm wearing, Happy Good Day. This was a little girl who I think at the time was like maybe 5 or 6 years old, right in central Vermont, who parents had a new carpet in the house on the floor, and she decided to get up early one morning and find some paint and a paintbrush, and she painted these words, "Happy Good Day," on the shirt or on the carpet, ruined the carpet and part of the floor. And Mom and Dad got up and saw this painted on the carpet, and quickly had to make the decision of how they were going to react. I think most of us would be like, oh, just anger, frustration. I've just spent so much money. The carpet was just installed yesterday. Look, it's ruined, blah, blah, blah. They took a deep breath. They looked at each other. They took a photograph of exactly how it was on the floor, and they said, we're going to duplicate it literally identically, and we're going to have hats and shirts and signs and all kinds of stuff, sweatpants and everything with that message exactly how it appeared, with the same colors and everything. And then we're going to sell those items, that apparel, and we're going to, at the end of every month, we're going to let our daughter decide what charity 100% of the proceeds are going to go to. So whether it's the Humane Society or the Little League is doing a fundraiser or whatever. So that's what they do, and they've been doing this for I think a year now. It's amazing. It has picked up so much traction, and so many have benefited, all from this little girl ruining the carpet at home. So that's why I'm wearing this today, but maybe at some point I'll be of the caliber of you guys where I could get a free Hugs shirt. It'd be nice. But anyway, I love you guys for doing this, Sweethearts and Heroes, and what they bring to your school. I wish that there are more schools, but I wish there were even more. So a message to any school district that's listening anywhere: contact Sweethearts and Heroes and. That's right. Get it going on. Anybody with any closing comments?
Yeah.
This is not an ad. This is real.
This is not AI.
Just what you had to say about the shirt. That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful because it came from a impulsive, some would say, mistake, or something you weren't supposed to do. But yet they turned it right on its head. They turned it right on its head, and they profit from it, and they send all those profits to somewhere, to a good cause.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. That's beautiful because it's right from the heart.
Yeah.
It wasn't her friend. It wasn't anybody that told her to do this. It was just her.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Anybody else?
So
I love the fingernails, by the way. These fingernails. What?
Check me out. Check
What?
me out.
yeah,
So why does Tom not have these fingers? Tom needs to have these.
yeah.
I understand he's got
Yeah.
his own, but he needs to have these.
Okay.
Our group.
Yes.
So
Go.
we loved a message of Sweethearts and Heroes, and we knew Tom was coming today, and we really wanted to do a little twinny moment with him and do fun little nails like he does. So we each picked out 2 colors that we all love, that go with a certain lesson or memo. So for
Really?
me,
You should- yeah, you should
I did keep your mind, it's like a sky blue type color, that you should keep your mind clear and not try to resolve stuff when you're angry, because that never ends well.
Woo.
And I did this like sparkly silver glitter for silver linings, and that was the one that we were all just holding up because, yeah, white is new beginnings, purple is to be, I'm not flipping people off, purple is to stay humble. This like nude color is that different, it's like all colors are in here, so it's different perspectives and that everyone matters. Diversity. Pinky promises.
Ooh.
Our school colors are like this bright blue and white, so school spirit.
Seniors,
To have compassion is this light pink one, and the orange is for enthusiasm, and we have this neon lime green for nature.
Yep.
That was a Liam
These are
color.
my 2 contributions. Yeah.
But we all decided that we should do this, like, I think it was yesterday. So first period today, I had a little nail salon up and running up in here.
Nails by Addie.
Yeah.
Addie by nails.
Addie by nails. But I just thought it was really cool that, like, we talked about this stuff yesterday, and you're talking about this shirt and this carpet, and bad situations can always, 9 times out of 10, can have something good that happens out of them.
Silver lining.
And I just believe in silver linings so much that I think that it's a silver lining, in my opinion.
That's empowering. Right there.
Wait, this kind of has nothing to do with anything, but your name is JD Green.
Yes.
Is that like your actual name, or is it like because like Vermont? Like
Are we live
Green
right now?
Mountains?
Are we live right now? Well, I'll tell you that story off the air.
Okay.
Good Tom.
Yeah. Love it.
All right.
Already.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Baddies for change.
Baddies for change.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Sweethearts and Heroes, for having us here. Be well, everyone. God bless.